Hello, welcome to the Adventure Within podcast. My name is Heather Fritz. I am a healer, clairvoyant, and meditation teacher. I am so excited to present the authors of The Orchid, this fabulous book. Rocio and Angel are the co-founders for The Highest Good, a company dedicated to creating transformative narratives that inspire personal growth and empowerment. Together, they blend their vast professional and global experience to design projects that foster conscious leadership and more authentic ways of living. Rocio was born in Mexico City and is now based in Los Angeles. Has built a distinguished career in media and advertising sales, working with renowned companies such as Time Magazine, TV Aztec, Nickelodeon, Sony Pictures Entertainment, and A&E Mundo. Her career and life journey has taken her to cities like Miami, Hong Kong, and London, shaping her talent for connecting people, ideas, and opportunities. Angel, originally from Puerto Rico and a graduate from Cornell University, has a successful career at Sony Pictures Entertainment, where he led content distribution teams across Latin America, Asia Pacific, and Europe, with experience spanning over 65 countries. Angel has merged his corporate leadership with a profound journey of self-discovery and purpose. Both firmly believe that inner well-being is the foundation for prosperity in all aspects of life, including business. They advocate when a person is in harmony with themselves, their professional endeavors flow more authentically and productively, leading to sustainable and meaningful results. Their debut work, The Orchid, The Secret Code of Modern Goddesses, invites readers to discover their inner power and find balance in their lives. It serves me as a reminder that self-love, gratitude, and inner clarity are the key to achieving success in all areas of life. Welcome to the show, and let's dive right in with my first question of how did you guys get started in spirituality?
Oh my God, thank you so much for having us here. For me, you want to say hello to everyone?
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Lovely to be here. Thank you for watching and listening and sharing this space with all of us.
So buckle up because really what brought me to spirituality was the search for forgiveness.
Oh, I love that.
So really, I was looking, at one point, my body was feeling super heavy, and a point that I was really living a nightmare because I was not able to forgive somebody that I love deeply. And in my culture, in my house, they teach me that when somebody betrays you, you need to stop talking to them. But because I love him so much, it's like no, I need to know how to talk to him again from a place of love. So how do you forgive? And I begin to ask a lot of people. At that time, we were living in London. And I was asking people a lot, and no one was able to tell me the steps. Step one, step two, step three, and you're gonna go and you're gonna do this and you're gonna feel like that. So after we moved to LA, and after we went to a deep introspection to study, and you know, the universe begins to take you to the path to do what you are looking for.
Absolutely.
So at one point, it's like, you want to know how to do it? Let me teach you.
Right.
So at one point, I was all the steps I was living, all the steps. And at one point, I was feeling like, oh my God, I get it.
Yes.
Now I get it.
Yeah.
Took me, of course, my search began 30 years ago, but took me like a deep introspection and going deep 2 years. And
Nice.
when I was like, oh my God, I think that I feel the way he was feeling because we've been together 25 years.
Oh,
And
congratulations. That's beautiful. I love that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. But he was born with this incredible Teflon in himself that many things happen, and he was already really wise, and he was only let go for he didn't have the words to explain me how to be like him.
I
Right.
wasn't aware of my wisdom. I
Right.
just had some of it that I could feel and sense, right?
Right.
Yes.
You're like, I don't know how I do it. I just do it.
Yes. So some people, they know how to do it, but they
Yes.
were born with that intelligence. And
Mhm.
some people like me
I mean,
were like it feels a lot,
it does.
heaviness. And it's
Mhm.
like a really, I cannot move, it's paralyzing.
Right.
So at one point when I was feeling like oh my God, I can think of something really painful and
Mhm.
it's not there anymore.
Mhm.
So in that moment, we were like, please, let's share
Mhm.
this with the world.
Yes.
He was like, of course, let's do it.
I love that so
Yeah.
much.
In
That's
in my
awesome.
case, in my case, it was, I guess you can answer that always in many ways. You can say, well, it's been thousands of years since I've been spiritual, right?
Absolutely.
Or since the day I was born in
Right.
this
Right.
lifetime.
Absolutely.
But there is a moment when I was 28, perhaps late 20s, and I started reading a few books, Conversations with God, Celestine
Okay.
Prophecies.
Oh
And
yeah.
those books somehow opened a door in me
Mm-hmm.
where I shifted immediately. And I was living in Miami at the time, and I needed to all of a sudden go and sit down in front of the ocean and
Mm.
be there
Mm-hmm.
and talk to God and
Yeah.
meditate, even though I wasn't able to call it that because I just wasn't aware that that was
Right.
a thing, at the time. I was too young and in the wrong, and not necessarily in a very spiritually alert place.
Right.
But when Rocio is going through this search
Mm-hmm.
for forgiveness, and I begin through her eyes and her experience to examine myself,
Mm-hmm.
we went deep into that place. And
Yeah.
the deeper we went, we did a course in spiritual psychology that
Oh,
helped us
nice.
tremendously.
Oh, yeah. That's
We
beautiful.
read hundreds of books.
Yeah.
And as we went deeper and deeper, Heather, it was are you feeling like I'm feeling? So there was we were able to validate right in there in front of each other that what was happening was quite real and
Yes.
to share it together. And so that
Yes.
began our journey.
Absolutely. It's so nice to do it with someone and someone that you can trust and be so vulnerable and open with.
Yeah.
Um, because you don't always find like a partner to go on the journey with. Like my husband and I are very spiritual together, and I am so thankful because I swear if I didn't have him, there'd be times where I'm like, I am crazy. I'm crazy. I'm nuts. So having that person with you on the whole thing is beautiful. I love that. I love that. I guess my question should have been, when was your awakening? Because you said spiritual, and you're like, it's been thousands of years. I'm like, yeah, so right. So yeah, no, when was the
Yeah.
awakening? I love that so much. Oh,
Yeah.
that's such a beautiful story. Um, and I had this question for later, but I'm actually going to bring it in now because you guys spoke on it. It's kind of relevant. Is forgiveness. Um, I teach forgiveness, and I heal with forgiveness because it's neutral and it doesn't belong to anybody. It belongs to everybody.
Mm.
And so I would love for you to speak on your discovery with forgiveness and the importance of self-forgiveness. So could you please speak on that?
For example, let me tell you, forgiveness,
Hmm.
what has been given to me
Hmm.
has been the release of the energy in my body.
Yes, that's what forgiveness does. It's just a big permission to let go. Yes.
So to let go the pain that was stuck
Hmm.
in different parts of my body, the trauma
Hmm.
Which you felt.
Yes.
was intense. So, and I was not able to release nothing of that because no one around me didn't know the tools to do it.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, because I was growing in a normal family
Mm.
Mm.
that had remember, everyone was doing the best they can with what
Oh,
they have.
yes. Oh, yeah. This is not a judgment or a chopping block or blame. Not at all.
No,
Because
not at all.
people in my family, they're like, oh, forgive. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? They're like, oh, you just don't talk about it ever again.
Right. Right. Well, that's what we were taught.
Right.
Yes,
Right. So
Right.
when you were speaking like, oh, the way my family was, I'm like, oh, mine was the same way.
Well, and then you start the secrets and the energy stored that it's not moving and it continues for generations, right?
Right. Absolutely. And it can manifest as cancer, lymphatic
Right.
issues. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Because you were talking about you
it's in the
feel it in the body.
subconscious. It's in the subconscious. You need
Mm-hmm.
to clean that and you need to learn how to do it. And that's
Absolutely.
why we put it in the novel, how
Yes.
to do it. The one,
Yes.
two, three, four, because at the end, it's your own recipe that you need to work on in you.
Mm-hmm.
So in my case, when I begin to really release,
Mm-hmm.
forgiving myself for the ideas that I was carrying for society, and we explain all in the book.
Yes.
That's why it's so important that when you read the book, you get inspiration for the characters.
Yes.
Because at one point, everyone was telling me, let go, let go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those were
but
my words to you.
yeah,
Let
let
it go.
Right. My
let
husband's too.
go.
He's like, just let it go. I'm like, how do you do that?
Right.
Yes, how you do that and really let go. So in the moment that I really forgive myself for one tiny thing,
Mhm.
that changed completely my perspective. And it's like, I want to know more.
Right.
So after 2 years and reading many, many books, it's like I finally was able to conceive okay. So the step number one is awareness,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Yeah.
When you begin to understand,
When you see it.
Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
the awareness is key.
Mhm.
So, and then the limiting beliefs to
Yes.
understand really, to go to a very deep perspective of for what reason you believe what you believe.
Right. Where'd this come from? Is it mine?
Is not, is yes, but no one was able, neither the teachers, and
Mm-hmm.
going back to our conversation before we were live, is it's incredible that at one point I was going with many different teachers,
Mm-hmm.
but no one was telling me the big picture.
Right.
And was expensive,
Yeah.
super expensive.
Yes.
It's expensive to be really harmonize yourself
Mm-hmm.
because it's like you pay a lot of money, right? But
Mm.
no one is telling you the big picture, probably because
Haven't found it for themselves, probably.
Could
I
be.
don't have
Yeah.
idea,
Yeah.
but that's
Or
why.
or like you just like, I don't know how I do it, I just do it. Yeah.
Right.
So that's why at one point was super important to do
Mm.
this book
Yes.
because it's how we bring this to
Yeah.
people who they cannot pay
Right.
for this knowledge. And we can bring this in a very simple way
Yes.
for everyone to understand
Yes.
and really go deep in themselves.
Yes.
So,
yeah, that's one thing with the book. I love that it's very, very relatable and very like I'm sitting there reading it and I'm like, oh, this is so like, yes, I can feel myself like really relating to the characters and like seeing myself in them and all that. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was like, yes, like your book reads so like anyone could I was like, my mom could read this.
Yeah. That was
But-
important to us that
yeah.
that it was simple to read. And I guess for your audience, what we did after all that process, and we'll go back to it in greater detail, but very briefly, is let's write a book, let's tell a story, because the humans have been telling stories for a long,
Yes.
long time. And we don't want it to be about us. Let's tell our story through the eyes of five women.
Yes.
So you meet these five women who have backgrounds, challenging backgrounds, divorce, sexual abuse, anger, success, but can't enjoy it. And
Yes.
all of a sudden they find themselves at a dead end in their lives,
Yeah.
like many of us,
Oh
right?
yeah.
It's like
Hit a
you can
wall.
be successful and be very poor and
Hmm.
not abundant in your life. And so
Yes.
they go to this place called the Orchid. It is a
Yes.
fictitious place. It
Okay.
doesn't
I thought it
exist.
might be real. I was like, I want to go to this place. The way you were
Not
describing the
yet.
rooms and everything, I was like, I want to go.
I
And
I hope that we can create a
yes,
space for everyone to experience. Really
Yes.
is so necessary.
it
This,
will exist, Heather. And I think
yes.
what we
You
found is
even
that
have a map in here.
yes, because it needs to be real. Now, I'll say two things. One, the Orchid is a compilation of all of these things that we were experiencing in our
Mm.
lives, different
Okay.
people. They just weren't together in one place.
I was wondering, I was like, what inspired these stories and these characters? Are these real people you know? Like, I'm like, some of these people, I'm like, I want to meet them.
So the people don't exist. The people are,
Are
the characters
you?
are fictitious, but they're
They're
us,
parts
with
of
the
you.
exception of the gay woman who it wasn't us directly, but it's someone we know,
Right.
and we
Yeah.
wanted to embody sort of that story, although
Love that.
entirely different. And these women find themselves in this place, and the orchid, more importantly, again for your audience, is a container of love.
Mm.
The
Yeah.
orchid is a place where there is no judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone who's there ready to guide you, because they're guides,
Yes.
has done the work so
Mm-hmm.
that they're not there to deal with themselves. Although I'm sure if we delve into that aspect of their
Right.
story, there's always a little bit that shows up and you have
Well,
to.
as a teacher, you teach the thing you're struggling with. Yeah.
That's right.
I was like, when I'm really struggling with something, like whether it's forgiveness, trust, whatever, I'm like, okay, I need to teach a class on this, or I need to like do a thing. So yeah. But the one thing that I did love was that was said early on was like all of your needs are met. And so in a weird
Yes.
way, it kind of takes out that survival thing so you can
Yes.
kind of relax. Because when you're in survival, worried about paying your bills, worried about making sure there's a roof over, your kids are fed, all this stuff. It is really hard to carve that time out to like carve in. So I loved that that was something that was part of the orchid experience, in the book was that even your clothes and your food and everything. And I loved the snacks in the rooms when I wanted all the beignets. I literally got hungry as I was reading it. I want a beignet now. But no, I loved that like that you took the first chakra survival um kind of like, oh, this is met. And I loved
Yes.
that.
Now, and I think funny you say that because we've never really spoken about this, but these women were probably in the borderline of going back to survival in their
Mm,
respective lives, if you will. But they
mm,
had already exited that, but they were struggling with going further, I think.
right.
And so they now were met with curiosity and
Mm,
awareness, and they were entering that stage of what else do I need to look at in my life? They may
right.
not be talking about it, but they were certainly sensing that they
Yes.
needed to do that.
Yeah.
So they go here and they encounter awareness, gratitude, forgiveness, acceptance, and intention across
Yes.
7 days.
Yes.
That's the orchid.
Yes, I love it. I love it so much. I love it. No, like when I first opened it, I went through like the index and I was like, I love all these steps. I love the way this is set up. I'm like, this is perfect. I just couldn't like I wanted to skip ahead to the gratitude part and then, like I was like because I'm like reading it, I'm like, I just want to like get to this part. Sorry, I just had to throw that in, let you know
No,
that
no,
like
I love
it's just,
that.
it made me excited to continue through the book. So I love the way you've designed it as it's like, oh, we're getting to a beautiful place. And so like talking about their curiosity and like I'm like, oh yeah, you totally ignited that in me.
Amazing.
Yes.
Tell us more.
Tell us more. Yes, tell us more about your experience.
Oh, like I wish I could have completely finished it. I didn't get to. I got pretty far though, and I was just really it's the stories like it's the thing that got me with the characters is like I know women like them. I know women who are going through the one with like the body distortion.
Yeah.
Like I know so many women, including my mother, including myself, like struggling with that. And like it was like, oh, like and I loved the weird mirror where it's like, and what is reality? That one I had to stop. That was when I said I had to stop and reflect for a bit. I'm like, what is reality? Like, what is that? Like, yes, like true. So that one, that was a showstopper for me personally, just because
Mm.
I have struggled with like that, and a lot of women I know have. And like the one who, oh, go ahead.
No,
Oh, you too. Oh, sorry. I thought you were like, I have something to
I
say.
struggled with that for
Mm.
so long.
Mm-hmm.
And really, it is a disease in our society.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
That
when,
perfect picture, that perfection, that mm-hmm.
That you're
and
not good enough.
is that part when we begin to address it, to see it,
Mm-hmm.
believe me, was to left my gray hair
I love your gray hair.
uncovered.
Oh, you look
Thank you,
fabulous.
thank you so much, but really took courage to do
Mm-hmm.
it. And really is, we need to talk about more about how unreal are the standards that
Mm-hmm.
they put in everything that make us feel so terrible. And for example, now I'm a mother.
Yeah.
My kids are teenagers, and I see how one day they were feeling great and powerful.
Yeah.
And then one day they switch to,
Mm.
I'm not enough.
Oh,
And for me was like a no,
yeah.
no. We need to understand that
Mm-hmm.
the message that society is sending us is you are not enough. And we
Yes.
need to stop that like a no, one second.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yes.
no, this is not real.
Oh, yeah. The guilt, the shame, the not good enough. Like my husband and I are dealing with that even in present time.
Right.
Like, if you don't make a certain amount of money or you don't, or you don't have certain thing, like, with us being pregnant, that's almost ramped up to 10.
Yes,
Everyone
yes.
has an opinion about what you should be doing.
Of course.
But
You
yeah.
know, and it
Totally.
goes so much deeper too, because, for example, if you look at stories that are told, whether they're in whatever form in which you get them, when a woman breaks, when a woman's heart is broken, the first thing she should do is go to the freezer and pick up ice cream,
Oh my God.
Or
Yes,
wine.
yeah.
right? Or
Yes.
wine,
Yes.
because nothing else, or go shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And so even the subtle messages that we put
Mm-hmm.
into stories, and that's why storytelling for us was really important. We
Oh, I
we
love
we
that.
now ask ourselves every time we're watching a program is where is the normal person? Because there's normal people out there,
Mm,
but somehow we don't feel compelled to tell their story.
right. It's always some fantastical, or it's always a gradual increase. When
Yes.
really it's more like up, like because it's not just like perfect progression. It's always like and then down and then it's up and down. Yeah,
But
the
it's like this.
yeah,
You put it like this, and what I see, for example, is you go here and then you go down. You never go like this
all the way
again.
down. Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're
It's
right.
like a you, yes, but it's more. And what I wanna say is more like
It
is
yes.
is more like because you can be in the same place with the
Mm,
same people, but when you begin to have awareness,
mm,
gratitude, forgiveness, and acceptance,
hmm.
you move a little bit
You never
different.
treat them or the situation the same.
Everything changed
Yes.
forever.
Oh, and with the spiral, absolutely, because the same lessons will come around again. Like if you
Yes,
struggle, like I like really kind of bad, kind of on point example. I used to date, like it seemed like I dated the same guy over and over and over again. And I'm like, why do I keep ending up with these men? Because life kept coming around and being like, when are you going to learn this lesson? Or when are you going to
Right.
think you're enough to deserve better?
Right.
yeah.
So yeah, so when you said spiral, it's like, you're on point. Yeah.
Heather, and the other thing that we wanted to capture in the book, we love the saying that says life is 10% what happens and 90% how you react.
Yes.
And what we saw in traditional storytelling too, in the majority, is that a lot of the story was focused on the drama of the
Mm,
person's life and
mm.
very little on how they actually got out of that.
Right. Yeah.
So we wanted to make the book more, it's 10% what happened to the women and the majority of the book about the tools and lessons and experiences
Yes.
that they could have in order to move from that,
Yes. Yes, I did notice that you didn't focus on like the trauma or focus on the thing that much, and I love that because I have noticed that with some people that they spend a very large majority like going through every scar, and it's like, whoo, I am I'm like, oh, I am like I'm traumatized just reading your story. I'm like and when you ask people, some people anyway, not all, they ask, "How are you?" They go through their laundry list of everything that's wrong. Some, not all. And then some people don't even tell anyone. They just say nothing. Like nothing's wrong. Everything's fine.
right?
So yeah, no, I love that. And yeah, no, this book is so beautiful. And I thought that like when I was first reading it that because you said it was so important that you're trying to make an affordable way for people to understand and begin their healing journey. And when I was reading this, I was like, "Oh, this is so beautiful because the orchid, how do I say this? It's like the orchid sounds like a place how do I say this? Like not unattainable, that's the wrong words, but it seems like, oh, this is like something only rich women can do or something really expensive. But then I was like, oh, but the book, like the book the book is the thing. And this is when I still thought it might be a real place.
And the hope is that it becomes a real place in your heart
Yes.
as you're reading it, because we all know the power that our thoughts have.
Yes.
And so if you're
Yes.
able to go there, how many people don't travel the world through books?
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
that's where it comes from.
Because at the end, the most important is that the book ignite your imagination.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, really, the power of creating your reality comes from within. Because that was something in your intro, which is at the beginning. It's you guys are all about your inside reflecting your outside, like living your authentic self, and then your business and your life on the outside is going to come um, be more for you and serve you better. And that is what my husband and I preach, and that's what we're going through right now. We're building our business and doing that. And I was like, this is too perfect that like this interview and everything is happening at the exact same time that I'm handling this. I'm like, universe, be doing its thing.
To,
I
to be honest, Heather,
Mhm.
I don't have many teachers who has been mothers.
Mm.
But the only thing that I
Oh,
can
yeah.
tell you is that is totally real
Mhm.
that your baby
Mhm.
is right now taking all the energy that we are feeling right now.
Mhm.
So that's why it's so important to really bring you
Mhm.
to the highest vibration possible
Yeah.
during your pregnancy,
Yes.
because that is going to imprint
Yes.
the experience of your daughter.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So it's really like if we became more aware
Mhm.
of the miracle that
Mhm.
you are living right now,
Mhm.
and be really careful to no, let's send all the light and love and really the best, because your daughter being in a better place is going to help everyone.
Yes. My husband did an interview with a medium a few weeks back, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I see your daughter, and yeah, having her is going to help heal like your wife's feminine lineage and your
Mm.
masculine lineage, and that's something that coming into our life that she's going to really help us with." And my husband, being clairvoyance, and he is a trained medium, he knows how to like go out of his body and still in control and everything. And he talks to our daughter every day. And her name's Zena. She told us that was the name she wanted. So,
Oh.
but kind of speaking on that with pregnancy and femininity, I kind of go segues into my next question of like, what is the divine feminine to you?
Oh my God, it's sexy. It's sexy, it's powerful,
Yes.
it's subtle, it's a transformation. It's like has the capacity of alchemy,
Yes. Yes.
really, because it's like is is not intrusive, is incredible,
Hmm.
really. really have had the privilege to visit me fully was an amazing sensation that is imprint me
Yeah.
in being who I am, and
Yeah.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Is powerful. Is, but like I say, is soft.
Yes, yes, yes. I was raised on a farm, and so I was raised with a lot of masculine energy. And you work hard, very masculine. And so I went through a women's clairvoyant training just to try to like turn on my femininity at all. And so this book was like really like my husband was like, "Oh, babe, I think that this would be perfect for you, and this interview and speaking with these people would be perfect because it's all about like femininity and the modern goddess and like bringing femininity into modern time. Because when you think about like goddesses, you think of like ancient Greece. You're like, how do you bring that into the modern world?
Mm.
But yeah, no, I love that. I love that the first thing you said was it's sexy. Like I was like, I love that. But I also am curious, Angel, like your perspective on the divine feminine from a male perspective. Like I'm dying to hear your perspective.
Yeah, of course. Well, look, it's a question that is asked often of me, obviously, as the man
Right.
in
It's like,
this
how do you balance that with your
project.
masculinity and like being, yeah.
You know, and it's almost a question that doesn't merit an answer.
Ah,
Because when you ask it, is you don't understand that what we all are is a balance between the masculine and the feminine,
yes.
right?
Yes,
And so
absolutely.
what is it for me is half of who I am,
True.
right? And
Absolutely.
sometimes it's 100% of who I am, and
Right.
sometimes it's a little bit less.
Right, right,
But
right.
really is it's what brings an equilibrium in me that
Mm,
I'm able to be very and focus on many of those qualities that are very male oriented,
yeah.
but at the same time bring that element that is quite nurturing
Hmm.
and kind and
Yeah.
empathetic. And really, what ends up happening is that when that is in balance, in
Hmm.
fact, I've said in public many times that I believe that the commandment that says honor thy mother and thy father
Mm, mm.
really is about honoring the energy of the divine feminine and divine masculine in you.
I love that. I love that.
Because
I
when
love
you
that.
achieve that, you become powerful. Imagine
Yes.
you're a jack of all trades for any situation.
Right. Because there's
And so,
situations where you need more masculine energy, like when you need to get things done and you gotta like, yeah,
right.
yeah. And then there's times where the feminine is more, yes. Ah, love that. Love that.
And we've added this negativity or positivity to either, depending on
Mm,
absolutely not. Sometimes the powerful and most powerful energy
yeah.
is the feminine.
Yeah.
It's not that, and so that is for me. And it's funny, Heather, because when we had agreed to write the book,
Uh-huh.
one day we're in the kitchen and Rocio gets up from the night's sleep and says, "Oh, I had a dream last night." And this happens often, so it wasn't a surprise.
Right, right,
But
right.
she goes, "The project needs to be about women."
Mm,
And at that moment, it was like my history, my life in this earth at this moment
hmm.
passed through, and it was like, and literally it was like a minute. Of course, it has to be.
Yeah.
And it was because throughout my life, the feminine energy had been present in so many ways, in
Mm,
so many times, via
hmm.
so many people. I
Hmm.
have two daughters. I married a very powerful woman,
Mm,
my mom, the lineage.
hmm.
And so it just made perfect sense. And so
Yeah.
I don't see it as masculine or feminine anymore. And
Mm,
I'm also very conscious. The last thing I'll say is I'm also very conscious that the world is like a human standing on two legs. And for a long time, we've been relying and pushing to walk on one leg. I don't know why. Okay. Now, if anyone has seen anybody run, it really helps to have both legs as powerful as they can be. So the
yes.
day that we get to a place in this world in which the feminine
Mm,
takes its rightful place,
yeah.
which is as strong and equal to the other leg,
Hmm.
we're gonna run so fast
Yes.
as humankind. And
Yes.
so that's how I see the feminine and my role in this project.
I love that so much. I love that. The earth tried to run on one leg. I love it. I'm writing that down. Like, I'm keeping that's a little nugget for me. Earth running on one leg. I love it. Nah, and that's so true that the world is trying to operate on one energy more than the other. And there is a shift happening. It's very slow. But then again, we women, we come in softer. So that like, because I read this kind of for myself. Like, the world is on more of a patriarchal, more of a masculine run. And it's been this way for a little while, but the female is rising and it's becoming more equal. And the reason it doesn't seem like such a drastic thing is because we come in softer. Like we don't take over by force or
Yeah.
fighting or blood or the destruction that the masculine kind of is more about. Like men, that's they're more their grind. We create, we make life. We do, so yeah. I love that. Alert on one leg. That is so cool. I love that so much. Oh, you guys are fantastic.
And so are
Heather,
you,
yes,
right? It's
remember?
the divine in me sees the divine in you.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Um, so my next question has to do with surrender.
Mm,
This is something that I think everyone struggles with.
Mm.
So, what does surrender mean to you, and why do you think we struggle with it?
I think my personal opinion
Hmm.
is if someone tells you that change is bad and we cannot change,
Mm,
in the moment that you begin to see change, then you think that is bad.
mm,
That is bad. So go directly with how we've been thinking about change. The truth is, change happens all the time.
mm. It's
But
inevitable all the time.
but at one point when they tell you we cannot change, the things are like this.
Mm,
So when things begin to happen that creates change, in that moment you feel like out of control, eh,
mm.
like a mad. Depends how you was raised
Right.
and your culture and your
Mm,
house and your
mm,
community,
hmm
because that is gonna make your way of thinking.
mm. Yeah.
So
Like feeling lost. Like, I don't know who I am anymore.
yes. So at one point, if, for example, you begin to experience something different that what they told you begin to feel hopeless,
Mm,
lost,
hmm
sad, and everything else. And math,
Yeah.
I don't know how it's gonna be your reaction.
Well, yeah, everyone responds differently.
Quite different.
Because because in my house, my first reaction that I learned was getting angry
Same.
to change.
My mama can go 0 to 60, no time flat.
2 seconds.
Hmm
I was like, you need to
Right.
go there in 2 seconds because if not, you are not part of this amazing family. So,
Yeah, yeah.
so remember the ideas create a reaction. And
Yes.
depends of your idea is how you were teach to
Mm,
react.
right.
So Angel and I, we were really lucky to live in Mexico, in Miami, in Hong Kong, in London,
Mm-hmm.
LA. So
Yeah.
we were able to see many different cultures and
Yes.
how they see things different. So at
Yeah.
one point I was really, really in the understanding that I was in a third world country.
Mm.
And then I go to Hong Kong to see how a colony from UK was doing. And then I went to Singapore and I saw a colony from UK. And then I went to Philippines to see another colony from Spain.
hmm
So you begin to see who has been the person, who has been our way of thinking.
How mindsets.
Yes, are create. So at one
Yes.
point,
Oh, sorry.
I was sitting across the table to somebody for Netherlands, and they were talking really open about their body, their sex relationships. And for me, all that was a taboo.
Right. You're like,
I
mhm.
was, yes, like I was never able to have a conversation, open conversation about sex
Right.
with my mother.
Yeah, same.
Was was a taboo. But
Yes.
then this amazing lady, she's telling me how the group of mothers in the Netherlands, the mothers, they were teaching her how to have a different relationship with their body.
Ah, yeah.
And the
At an
body,
early age.
yes, really like how you find an organs, how you, and for me was all like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna grab that to
Hmm.
teach my kids
Yes.
differently.
Even as you're saying this, I'm like, I need to know because I'm having a daughter. So I'm like, I need to know.
Yes, Heather, thanks to this trip around the world,
Yeah.
now my kids, what I teach them is not the umbrella. Instead of having my umbrella to here like
Mm,
I was,
yeah.
now my umbrella goes all the way, you see, because I'm gonna teach you about economics
Hmm.
and then about sex,
Hmm.
but then how to be smart and
Hmm.
critical thinking.
Right.
And it's like all this
Yeah.
freedom to
Yes.
choose,
Yes.
to choose. So, of course, I'm more open
Hmm.
about now what make me feel sad
Mm.
or not accepting a situation.
Hmm.
I accept what is happening, but I take a step back to
Yes.
see. And in the book, we teach how you can choose
Yes.
your reaction
Yes.
because that's the key.
Right. And you have
That
to like do that pause. You have to do that step back because sometimes like you're like, wait, is this actually my reaction? Is this just kind of what I've been taught? Because it took me, like I grew up in a very like you shout. My husband does not shout. My husband's raised his voice maybe twice in the 10 years I've known him. And so when we first were together, that was a very difficult trying to balance that, trying to figure because he'd never been around someone who yelled. And so learning that that's not how I want, it's not even how I wanted to communicate. It was just what I learned, which kind of goes with the limiting beliefs as well, like
But
what
I
you've
also
learned.
I also think that it's an element of society. It's an element of the past 500,000 years in which women
Mm,
have had to yell
yes,
in
because
order
yeah,
to be listened to.
facts.
Right.
Very
And when a
true.
man, all of a sudden, when a man says a word, everybody shuts down and oh, he's speaking. And so we've been accustomed to that as well.
Hmm.
And so I see it and it's like,
Yeah, right.
these
No
are the things that
wonder.
we need to become aware of. Right. And we hear all these conversations about what does it mean to give a woman a seat at the table. Well,
Right.
it's not just the seat, it's to bring her as part of the conversation as an equal, whatever
Hmm.
that conversation is.
Right. Right. Yes, I've run into that too, where even there's been times where I'm like, oh, am I like there, like a woman might say something a certain way and it might hit my nerve a little wrong, and I'm like, am I upset about what she said, or is it how she said it, or is it? And so I have to like take a moment for myself being like, okay, what she said wasn't wrong. I just didn't like the way she said it. Okay.
Mhm.
And I'm like,
There's
all
so
right.
much. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I'm like, all right, am I struggling with like, am I like internalizing misogyny here? Like I've had this conversation and it's not a fun conversation to have with yourself.
But the
but it's
awareness is part of it, right? And the moment that
Yeah.
you know you're having it, that's like you're opening the door. There's a door here that I need to maybe
Yeah.
cross.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And my husband is so great. Like he's just like he chill as a cucumber. Like he just takes the world with just nothing like gets him hackled. He's like, I'm good. He doesn't judge anyone. Like, I'm like, how do you, like, and not that, like, I don't think of myself a judgmental person, but of course we have our moments. And I'm like, how do you just float through life and nothing bugs you and everything's fine? I'm like, what is going on? And my husband's just like, I don't know. He's like, it's no skin off my nose, if that's, whatever. And yeah, no,
But because here, you and I, we grew up in another world,
true.
and they grew up in another world.
Right, their voice was always kind of heard with being men. Like their voices,
Yes.
they never felt like their voices were shut down or that
Yes.
yes, 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 absolutely.
100%
Love that.
so.
And I don't know your husband, but maybe he had also the feminine influence in his life. And so he is in a greater balance between those two forces
Yes, yeah,
as well.
yeah. No, yeah,
Right.
he had two sisters, and yeah, yeah, he's a softer something that he learned early on. I don't want to like speak for him, but something from like just knowing him when he was younger, like he was more of like into music and poetry and like softer
Mm,
things. Like yeah, he did sports, but that wasn't where his passion was. It was more with creativity and softer things. And so he had more feminine energy at a younger age. And of course, back in the 90s and the 80s, that was like you got kind of either made fun of or pounded. And so he didn't tell a lot of people about it. He kind of kept it to himself. And when he went to college, that was such a freeing thing for him because he was away from he went to college in Chicago, which is a
mm,
very diverse place. And everyone was very creatively open. It's a very artistic place. So he felt so free to finally like express himself. And so he kind of already did have that feminine, it kind of was more natural. But yeah, he did have that feminine
right.
energy to him. He said he actually struggled with finding his masculine more than anything. And yeah, no, he's able to balance that so well. So I love that like you had talked about that because my husband is so like very kind and patient with going through pregnancy. I'm like, I'm so sorry. You have to wait on me hand and foot. And he's like, it's fine. Like he's like, it's not a big deal. And so no, I love and adore that man.
That's amazing.
Ay, congratulations.
Thank you.
Really, congratulations, because at the end, doesn't matter what you choose, is how incredible is to be around somebody who can support our our getting. Something that I love was about my relationship with him was that he saw the possibility when I didn't see my possibility of who I was. So he created spaces for me to really experience myself and to begin to see that I have, for example, wins,
Yeah.
and that I can really experiment and feeling a place without judgment, but for what reason you are stopping yourself?
Yeah.
And really what I was stopping myself and doubting everything that I was doing, because my condition for my family, for my culture, for everything
Hmm.
was never. The only thing that you are good is to be this,
Yep.
a mom. That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else. You need to serve. You're going to be from a daughter to
Hmm.
a wife, and it's the only thing that you're going to do. And you're going to figure out things the
Yeah.
way are. So now, with this expansion
Hmm.
of my consciousness,
Yes.
our relationship becomes stronger.
Yes. Yes.
Our family was even more stronger,
Yes.
because now we can stand of a place of equals,
Hmm.
respect,
Hmm.
understanding,
Hmm.
and transparency.
Yes. Yes. And it's you're safe with each other. Like being able to share with each other and be vulnerable and be real. Like and
Yes.
it's a safe place. Like as you're describing, like that's exactly kind of what happened with my husband and I, is that he provided this safe place for me to grow as myself without being shaped into what he thought I should be. Like he literally I'd be like, should I do this or should I do that? And he'd be like, whatever you want. I'd be like, should I try that or should I do that? He'd be like, whatever you want. And he's like, it's fine. Like, we'll buy it, we'll do it. Okay, cool, whatever. And so, it sounds like that's kind of what he did for you. He just provided you a very safe place to explore yourself, right?
Yes, to really, really, I was feeling that I was, ¿cómo se dice?
Handcuffed.
Handcuffed
Oh.
to, I was not able to really let go
Hmm.
because my limiting beliefs.
Yes. Same.
So in the moment that I was able to cut it
Yeah.
and free myself, oh my God, we are having so much fun.
I know, right?
I know.
Right? It's
I'm having so
so
much
much
fun
fun.
from a place of totally, completely love for myself.
Oh, I love that.
But that happened until I was 50. I'm 53 and I still like wow, I didn't know that I'm able to do this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You got it at 50. My mama is 65 and still struggles with loving herself, and a lot of women do,
I
So,
know.
And on that note, I just want to say what we've seen in our few years that we've been actually doing this full time
yeah.
since the book was released only a year and a half ago. There is no age. Obviously,
No.
there's
Right.
children that are just a little bit too young for that, but we've seen
Right.
this work with 14-year-olds
Hmm.
who already have beliefs and ideas that are being implanted of them about what they can or cannot do.
Hmm.
And I've seen it work with my mom, who just turned 76 years old.
Hmm.
And she's probably just had one of the happiest birthdays she's ever had in her life
Oh,
because she is aware of her power
yes.
and how she is in control of her life.
Yes.
And so it is beautiful and it can happen. There is no age limit for finding the strength within, for realizing that we've been constrained throughout our entire lives by ideas,
Hmm.
sometimes not ill meaning, sometimes yes, because
Right.
it's about control.
Yes. Some of our families like, this is how you be safe. Yeah.
Right. But we are, when we speak of limiting beliefs, when we speak of these things, it's really ideas that we carry around with us like bags,
Yes.
and they hold us down and they weigh us down, and we don't know why we still believe in them.
Hmm.
And what we urge our readers and the people that we talk to is awareness for us. It's really two things. Ask yourself, why do I do the things that I do, think the way I think, talk the way I talk, etc.
Yeah.
And if you like it and what it's doing in your life, by all means, continue it.
Right.
And if you don't, then ask yourself one further question. Are you willing to change it for the possibility of living the most fantastic, outrageous, and unlimited life that you can dream of?
I love
And
that.
if the answer is yes, there are tools you can use.
Yes.
And forgiveness, gratitude, and acceptance are three of the most powerful ones.
I love that. That is so beautiful. Oh, mwah, beautiful. Oh, I really hate that we're like coming close on our time to wrap up because this has been like the best best conversation ever, and I
I
adore you
thank you so
guys.
much. Let me say something for
Yeah.
your
I was,
consideration. The book really helps to create bridges
mm,
between different persons.
yes.
So will be fantastic if mothers and daughters can read it together and
Hmm.
begin to have a conversation in understanding
Yeah.
and healing.
Yeah.
Healing, but not healing, but
Harmonizing.
really to find harmony between them. Because in that moment, oh my God, how beautiful is to understand that, you know what, at the end, the most important part is to be love and to find it inside of us. So every person has their own ability to really get it.
Yes. Yes. Ah, yes. Love is everything. Love is, I hate
It
to be
is.
all Beatle on you, but love is all you need.
It
It
is,
is all
it is all you need.
Oh, is there any last minute messages you want to throw out to our audience? And how can they reach you? And how can they get your book? And like, just how can they absorb more of you?
Oh, thank
I
you. Thank
thank
you so
you.
much.
Thank you so
Well,
much, Heather.
this is the book again. It's The Orchid, The Secret Code of Modern Goddesses. It is available electronically, in print, and audio. And it is available wherever books are sold. Obviously, the most, relatable platforms are Amazon, Barnes or Noble, Audible, Apple. We also have a great podcast called The Orchid Diaries, and it's really just interviews with people who've read the book so that they can tell their story from in their own words about the experiences they had doing so.
Mhm.
And I guess I would love to read the dedication, which is not too dissimilar from what I said a few minutes ago, which is to all who journey through these pages, may you be inspired to rewrite your own narrative and live a life of love, free of limitations, and enriched by the knowledge that you are powerful beyond belief.
I love that so much. Oh, that is so beautiful. You guys are so beautiful. This has just
I
been
thank you.
fantastic. All right. Um, Thank you so much. And thank you,
Thank you.
everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for being on another episode or tuning into another episode. And we'll see you guys next time.